Hey, I'm Dr. Isaac Jones. Today what we're going to do is talk about how you can take your functional medicine practice online and get into exactly the details of how you can do this successfully. I'm the founder of Health Experts Alliance, and we are the global leaders in virtual practice education, and we've helped literally hundreds of doctors, the top medical doctors in the country, the top chiropractors, naturopaths, etc., build these amazing, sustainable businesses virtually. And so there are a lot of secrets to their success and to my success as a virtual practice owner that I started in 2008. And when I was in brick and mortar, I was like, man, like I work so hard. I've got so much paperwork to do. I see so many patients. It felt like I didn't have a life, you know? And I don't know if you can relate, but you look up and you're like, is this what my future looks like? Will I continue to be doing these things later on in my life? And so I said, I need to start thinking differently. Now, I built one of the most successful functional medicine kind of brick and mortar practices at the time. And I wanted to, this was inside of kind of an integrative office. What I wanted to do was I wanted to transition into the virtual space. Functional medicine is essentially the integrative, holistic kind of approach to natural health and wellness. And, a lot of people are like, you can't bring necessarily that stuff online. You have to see people in person. You got to examine them in person. A lot of chiropractors are like, dude, I touch people with my hands. I can't go virtual. So there's a lot of people that have resistance to transitioning online and for good reasons, but they don't understand what we're going to talk about in this video in respect to how simple and easy it actually can be and how also lucrative and powerful it can be as well. The cool thing about virtual practice and transitioning your functional medicine practice online is that when you get people into the online space, you can get just as good of results, if not even better results with people virtually. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. And I think it's because I've just been doing it for so long that over the last 10 plus years of me pioneering the virtual practice space, there are things that we've learned not to do with patients. We've learned what to do with patients. We've learned how to market, how to generate a lot of revenue in these types of businesses, etc. We've learned what all of the mistakes that burn money and that ultimately waste a lot of your time. A lot of people try to do this on their own, and through COVID and some of these other things, people have transitioned and into virtual, but it's sloppy. They may be virtual, but it's like they didn't like it and they didn't set it up correctly. And a lot of people who are coming to me right now, they may be generating good revenue, but they feel like slaves in their businesses. Like some people are generating multi-six figures a month, but they feel like a slave in their business. And so why not rethink what it looks like to bring your functional medicine practice online? What would it look like to kind of like re-envision what it would look like to really build a beautiful practice that works for you versus you working for it, So what taking your practice ultimately online means is that you will create an opportunity to create more timeliness and even integrity in the way that you're working with patients, because everything online is very on time. And typically in a brick and mortar, when patients come in, there's 15, 20, 30, 40, 50-minute waits. And so a lot of that goes away when you're virtually, and it creates a better experience for the health participant, which is my word for patient. So there's typically no wait times. You're always there for them, or your team is always there from them in respect to just, being an email away or, a text if you have text services, et cetera, away to get support. And ultimately, you as the doctor create even more freedom as a practitioner. So there's a lot of ways that transitioning your functional medicine practice online creates freedom, but the way that you set up your practice is so important. This is the difference between what a lot of these virtual practice agencies and clients on demand type programs that are really just like funnels that drive patients into your practice. a lot of them are missing the boat because they're essentially set up in a way that just drives you into a jail cell or a hamster wheel of working, and you don't get the freedom that you ultimately want to create. So setting it up the right way is absolutely essential. And this is why I built out the Virtual Practice Accelerator, which is a program that goes deep dives into how to properly build your virtual practice from the get-go. And again, you can do what I did, where I only worked 2 days a week in my virtual practice, which allowed for me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to work on whatever I wanted to work on. And that's ultimately how I'm doing this business right now, where I'm able to work and connect with you and add value to you because I've actually built that out of my virtual practice because my virtual practice created so much freedom, as well as me being able to invest in other opportunities and things of that nature. So you're always there for them. There's no wait time. You create a better experience. You create more freedom for yourself as a practitioner. The other thing is that you can practice from anywhere in the world. We have people in Okinawa, in Maui, in Puerto Rico, in Brazil. They wanted to move back to Brazil. Georgina wanted to move back to Mexico just recently, and she did. She just moved from Chicago back to Mexico, where she's from. We have people moving to Florida like crazy. A lot of people moving to California to be on the beach. I mean, it is amazing. People moving from Austin, Texas into the mountains because they've just always wanted to live in the mountains. I mean, it is so cool what's happening. I call this group of doctors my island club, but this is what's possible for you. You can practice from anywhere in the world. I traveled all across Europe, all across Australia while I was building my virtual practice. I traveled 5 months of the year and broke $1 million that year while I was traveling. So it's really cool. The other thing with virtual practice is it can be very low overhead. Again, this is why you need to set up your business properly from the get-go, because a lot of the things that other people that don't know virtual practice that are coaching doctors on virtual practice, they don't get it. And so they end up, creating a little bit of a problem for themselves because they create, again, a situation where the profitability isn't as good as it could be. So it can be very low overhead and high profit. And there are way more opportunities to generate residual income virtually. I need to create a video on all of the residual income generating opportunities. But again, I get into that in my Virtual Practice Accelerator course. And then you can expand your network exponentially. You can literally, when you're locally, you can have like maybe some referral networks that are local, maybe 2 or 3 people, 5 people. But when you go virtual, you can have like big enterprise type influencers promoting you, or big blog or podcasters that let you on their podcast, and it really does drive a lot of revenue for you, which is awesome. So you can build like a huge network, referral network, and that's something that you can't necessarily do locally at the level that you can do virtually and online. And you're able, again, to work with people not just locally, but also globally. The reason why I have a business in Tokyo that's a 8-figure business now in Japan is because of a health participant that I worked with in Tokyo. And he's like, Isaac, you need to bring this message to Japan. And so now, this past month, we just did a $4 million launch in 1 month. And so this is just like really exciting information that you can get out. And I will tell you, the globe is hungry for this information. So the faster you get online and transition into whatever you're going to do, like you can literally have clients from all over the world. I actually started working with the royal family in Saudi Arabia because of my virtual practice. So here are the steps to setting up your online functional medicine practice. Number 1, you want to really figure out who you want to serve. Who are the people that you want to connect with? As a hero, who do you want to be the hero to in respect to the tribe that you want to be the hero to, right? So there's a link in the show notes. If you go to our article, the blog article that we wrote about this, just go to that and then click on the link and you can go and learn more about step 1. Okay, so that's finding your niche, getting understanding of who your customer persona is. That's essential. Step 2 is determine the service you're going to offer. understand your offering and how you'll project financially and how you will ultimately automate this process. Number 3 is build a signature process to deliver those services for you. I've developed a signature process that sells into a signature program that's just magic. It ties into your niche and your services, really connect with what they are dealing with and how you will provide the value that they're looking for with a very high level of quality. So this is the opportunity that you have in building out kind of a signature process. Now, in the Virtual Practice Accelerator program, we go into all the details of how to do this with precision and excellence. I keep getting amazing feedback from health professionals and medical professionals and holistic professionals all across America and around the world now, a huge group of them in Canada and England and Australia that are loving this training, and they're like, this is so unbelievably mind-blowing. So ultimately, the signature process and program is essential. And then number 4 is understand how to build residual income into your virtual practice. Because if you do want to build residual income, and you want to be able to go on vacation without your revenue dropping, or maybe you take a nap in the middle of the day and then you look at your bank account and it's grown, right? Or you go to sleep at night and you wake up the next day and you've made more money in your sleep. Like, you can't do that trading time for dollars. You know what I'm saying? But with virtual online, you can do that. It really does create a lot more financial stability. And I know there's a leap of faith that you need to take in what I'm saying here, because you're like, look, like, how is this possible? And what I would recommend is just watch the trainings that we have below and learn a little bit more about the Virtual Practice Accelerator, because we are the global leaders in virtual practice education. And ultimately, we will help you understand all of this in detail and create it in a way that will build an awesome business for you, which it will be the business of the future, a healthcare business of the future. So in order to really get access to all of this information, what I'd love for you to do is get into the Virtual Practice Accelerator. It is a program that gives you the proven roadmap that we have developed over over thousands of doctors that have come to our virtual practice education events over the years, and hundreds of doctors that have done it right and have got it wrong. And so we've surveyed the people that have got it wrong, that tried to just do it on their own, and the people that have got it right, that have been part of our group and culture. And we've learned, like, what are they doing wrong? What are they doing right? And it's a detailed, step-by-step system that gives you methodically exactly everything that you need to do and learn in order to create a 7-figure virtual practice, or 6-figure if that's your goal, that creates a lot of success for you with ultimately grace and ease. Because if you can do this with grace and ease, then we're onto something like really powerful. And that is the goal, and that's why we've invested over $500,000 into developing this for you. So what we are not is, we're not someone that is going to give you a doctorate, in a certain type of condition like thyroid disease or something like that. Like, we're not going to get into all the minutia of it. We definitely talk clinical. We definitely have information on how we structure health programs to generate the most amount of revenue and get the best transformations. So we talk about all of that, but we want you to generate revenue. We want to take your knowledge, expertise, and information in your mind and understand the business systems and solutions that will help you build a successful virtual practice. Ultimately, we want this to take away a lot of the work and the research of learning how to do this off your plate, and just hand you on a silver platter everything that you need to know on how to build a virtual practice. And this ultimately will create more income for you. It will create more impact for you and the people that you want to serve. And this Virtual Practice Accelerator program will create more freedom for you as well. We specialize in helping health professionals and functional doctors transition into the online space. And ultimately, we want to build systems around you that work for you, that don't just create a headache and more work and a bigger job. We are liberating the doctor to create more freedom in their lives. And so the first step is to sign up to the training below, learn a little bit more about the Virtual Practice Accelerator, and ultimately, hopefully you'll see that we are the best in the industry. There's nobody that comes close to us. We have so many doctors that come from other programs that are like, oh my gosh, what I just came from was like 1 or 2 or 5% of what you guys coach and train on, and you're the full picture. So hopefully you'll see that this is the full picture, and I look to adding even more value to you in the future as a part of hopefully our community in the Virtual Practice Accelerator. Thanks again. Bye-bye.